I've been a moonshiner for 17 long years. I've spent all my money on whiskey and beer. I go to some hollow and sit at my still. If whiskey don't kill me, and I don't know what will. You know, you want these things with you. You want to be able to open up jars when you're elderly. Mike's Music Method. What is up, everybody? Come on in to Mike's Music Method. Guys, I got some new Christmas lights. I felt left out. All the cool kids on YouTube have the cool holiday lights behind them. Let me know if it brings joy to your heart when you look at them, or if it's just really lame. I don't know, but I'm trying it out. Guys, Moonshiner, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Timestamps below, they're your best friend to jump around to all the different moments in the song. I know you're all at different skill levels, so if you're a beginner, take you measure by measure, and it'll be very helpful. But if you're a little bit of a more advanced player, you may find that annoying, so please use the timestamps to jump ahead accordingly. We are doing one of just a classic song, Bob Dylan's Moonshiner. There's many versions floating around out there. This version is the studio outtake, I believe, from 1963. I used to have one of the bootleg series ones. I don't know which volume it was on. I actually prefer that version, but I don't have it anymore. I had the CD, it's gone, and what's on YouTube is this 1963 outtake that's pretty darn popular, so I did that one. This is, I'd say, a moderate level piece. If you're a beginner, check out the Travis Picking playlist as always. This one is not too hard. Getting it up to speed is going to be hard, but it's a very repetitive pattern. Keep in mind, Dylan does the capo on 4. We're not going to do the capo because no one wants to sing as high as Dylan. And I later on, when we start talking singing, I talk about the capo and singing what key is right for you. But this is a very great, moderate beginner piece. And I'm going to challenge you guys with this one is, once you learn it, I'm going to challenge you because you're going to realize it's kind of annoying to play with Dylan. It's one of the songs where I usually recommend you learn the whole thing note for note because you can learn a lot and get a lot better at playing when you do that. But this one is so freeform with how he sings it and how long he holds the notes that what you're going to do is take the ideas you learn in this video and then just really go at it on your own. And please, if anyone learns this song from this video, email it to me. I would love to see what kind of progress you guys have made on the song. That's always super encouraging. So here you go. This song was requested several times. I don't remember who specifically, but over the last year, I got quite a few requests. I used to cover this song myself a long time ago, like 15 years ago. Great tune, a little too depressing for me nowadays, but it's a beautiful song. Let's do it. Bob Dylan's Moonshiner. Whew. Measure 1 over Dylan just blowing into that harp as hard as he can possibly blow into the thing. We've got an A minor. Just a reminder, we are not doing capo 4, simplifying it, no capo as discussed. And you'll notice right away lots of repetitive patterns, and I'll show you how to play the song, but it's really going to be up to you because he's kind of really free-flowing, free-forming this one. But let's do it. First measure. I've got thumb on an A minor chord. My thumb's going between 5 and 4 the whole time. The first 2 beats are alone. Thumb on 5, thumb on 4. Then thumb's back to 5, but I hit my pointer finger on 3. So it's 5, 3. Then my thumb goes to 4, and my middle finger goes to 2. 5, 3, 4, 2. That's going to be a really common theme and pattern. So if you're not really comfortable with that, maybe you'll just pause the video now and spend a week changing chords, just doing that idea. Measure 2. Ah, see, it's that same pattern again and again. 5, 3, 4, 2, and it's thumb, pointer, thumb, middle. And then same thing with measure 3. There he interrupts it a little bit. Let's have the same pattern, and then it's thumb alone on 5, then pinching 4 and 2, thumb and middle. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Measure 4, same idea. Right, starts the same. Thumb, pointer, thumb, middle. Then we go to this, Dylan plays this chord a lot. It's a great folk chord. If you don't know it yet, it's a C chord, but all we're doing is moving the ring finger up to get the G in the bass. And we're not ever picking that 5th string, so we can leave it empty. Right, if you were to strum it, you might put your pinky down there to get that big C chord, but you don't even need to put your pinky there because we're always skipping 6 to 4 with our thumb, as he does in the end of measure 4 here. It is 6, 3, 4, 2, and that's thumb, pointer, thumb, middle. So there's first 4 measures, just so you got it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Measure 5, we stay on that C/G chord, do the same thing. 5, 3, 4, 2. Same thing happens in 6. Do it again at the beginning of 7. Then we go to an F chord, and as usual, I have a video here. Bar chords are overrated. There's a lot of ways to play this F chord. I go with the thumb over the top, and so I got nothing on the 1st string. So it's essentially this big F bar chord. And you can play it that way. There's going to be one moment later in the song where you're going to want to do it this other way that I'll show you right now, because there's a hammer on that you can't really do in that position. We got nothing on the 1st string, 1st fret on the 2nd string, then the 2nd fret, then the 3rd, so I'm building a staircase. That's the 2nd string, 1st fret, or the B string, 1st fret, 2, 3, and then my thumb is over the top, getting this 1st fret of the 6th string. And here, my thumb's going 6, 4, and so we're on the end of measure 7 here, and we've got 6, 3, 4, 2. So the picking pattern is exactly the same as what we did for the G chord. Thumb, pointer, thumb, middle. Then we go into the next measure, measure 9. It does one more little thing of F. Then right back to that C/G chord. Same thing in 10. Then he gives a little breather here and finally gives you the C in the bass. So again, 2 ways to do it here. Here you can just add the pinky to the chord. That's probably going to be easier, but sometimes I walk it. It kind of depends on the context, because there's going to be some moments where you want that pinky free. But in this song, I don't know that Dylan's doing anything fancy with the pinky. I'd have to look through, but I don't think so. So we can rest assured and just put the pinky down there if you want to, that kind of big C chord shape. And so all of measure 10 would be. So the pattern is usual, 6, 3, 4, 2, but then it's 5, 4 with the thumb. Then measure 11, same idea. Starts the same as the other one. And then instead of just 5, 4, it's 5, and then he pinches 4 and 2, thumb and middle. So the whole measure there. Next measure, kind of the same idea, 6, 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, 2. Thumb and thumb and thumb on the 5th string. So same pattern over and over again, just slightly, different variations in there. The donation pitch. Guys, if you are getting value from this channel, please consider giving some back. I put a lot of time and my expertise into these videos, and also getting you what I think is the most accurate tab on the internet. I obsess with put my headphones on and sit there note for note transcribing. So if you guys understand the value and the talent that I'm putting into this channel, please consider giving some back. The more you guys give, then the more time I'm able to put into the channel, which means your contribution is helping me pump out more videos and content to more people. And my promise to you always is no paywall. So by you pitching in, you're buying me time to make these videos and keep them free for everybody on the internet. Young kid who's, not even working yet, some 14-year-old can find this channel, learn from it. without having to harass his parents for money. Or if you yourself are hard on times and don't have the money for private lessons or whatever, here you go. This is for you and all of my patrons and people donating on PayPal. Thank them as well. Don't just thank me. I have over 100 people every month chipping in some amount, whether it be $1 or $50 a month, however you find value in these videos, it's up to you to decide. And then, if that's 97% of y'all are going to freeload, and that's okay. But you 3%, you know who you are. Your heart should feel warm. You're warming my heart. Let's keep going with the song. 13, we are almost done with the harp playing intro. We've got same thing in 13, C with the G in the bass, and then go to the 5th string, and then pinch 4 and 2. We just saw that measure, and then same thing again. Same thing again. And then he starts singing. The verse. I cannot stress this enough. I will show you guys the note for note first verse that Dylan is playing, but he's really winging it, and I've heard different versions. There's one of those bootleg volumes that I heard where it's very different than this one. So just know you can hold these melodic notes longer, shorter. This is a really free-formed folk song, and this is one of these songs where I know I obsess and often do things note for note, and I will teach it that way, but you're going to quickly want to abandon that and just go by feel, and that's going to make your delivery a little more honest and genuine. Just hold the words how long you feel the need to hold them, and I think it's going to be easier and more natural instead of trying to replicate Dylan. But that being said, let's do the first verse. You're probably going to get lost because the meter's not so clear. But again, the chord finger picking, the structure, chord structure is all going to be the same. So if you get lost at first, don't worry about it. We're just kind of learning the picking patterns and the different measures. And then I promise, timestamps are below. If you're greedy and eager, you can jump ahead to when we sing all those parts together. I'll put them into place for you. But for now, let's just go through measure by measure, understanding the finger picking, and then we'll put it all together in the context of the song. Measure 16. One thing to note is you did all the chords in the song already, except for G. He's going to finger pick the A minor, the C with the G in the bass, sometimes putting the C in the bass with the pinky down, that F chord, and then a G, and sometimes a G7 so the G you can get away with just the ring finger, and then the G7 you'll add that first finger on the 1st fret. But again, remember, you don't need to add this middle finger because you're never playing the 5th string, so you're always going to skip it. All right, let's go ahead. So 16, A minor. Here he does a little more with the thumb. We've got 5, 4, and then the next thumb pattern is going to be 6, 4. So the thumb does a bit more work. But if I put it all together, it's 5, 4, 6, 3, 4, 2. Thumb, thumb, then thumb on 6, pointer finger on 3, thumb on 4, middle finger on the B string, the 2nd string. 17, we'll keep going, 5 alone, and then he pinches 4 and 2, and I'm using my thumb and middle there. So that's the beginning of it, thumb alone and a pinch. And then after the pinch, we got that same pattern, 6, 3, 4, 2, which was thumb, pointer, thumb, middle. 18 is exactly the same. And then the C with the G in the bass, we've seen this in the intro, 6, 3, 4, 2. He ends it with one less beat, right? There's no and on the 4th there, just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 20 is to the F with the thumb over the top. Same pattern, 6, 3, 4, 2, which is thumb, pointer, thumb, middle. 21 is back to the C with the G in the bass, same exact pattern. And in 22, a little variation, he gives you the 5th string first, then he pinches 4 and 2 with thumb and middle. And then 6, 3, 4, 2. And then in the next measure, 21, 22, 23, 24, almost the same, but we have 5, 3, 4, 2, 6, 3, 4, 2. Remember, play, pause, rewind. I'm going fast for the better players. For you beginners, don't feel like you should know this, right? I've talked about this before. There's some advanced players who come to these videos and then some beginners, but I always say timestamps below. You can slow the video down to 0.75 speed if I'm playing something too fast, and always hit your little J and L button to fast forward and rewind, or your back arrow and forward arrow. And you know, if you're a beginner finger picker, this will take you a long time. So please, you know, maybe watch 10 minutes of this video, spend a week on it, and then move on. No shame in that. That is how you get better, okay? That is how you get better. So go slow, learn it. If I'm rushing you, I don't know, you're not there in the room with me. So yell at me and hit the space bar. Say, Mike, too fast. Hit the space bar, shut me up for a little while. Go into your quiet place, practice, get it down. And guess what? I'll still be waiting there on the screen for you. You can pause me indefinitely. You can freeze me for eternity if you want. That's a terrifying thought, actually. Thank God I'm not in a simulation inside the computer and that you cannot freeze me for eternity. I won't allow it. I won't allow it. All right, sorry, let's do the song. 25, we're hanging out on that C/G chord. Hear the rhythm sparser at the beginning. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and it's the same idea though. 6, 3, 4, 6, 3, 4, 2. 26 is the same. So is 27. Then 28, we get a G chord. And again, all we're doing is lifting these two fingers here, boop, and just keeping that ring finger down on the 3rd fret. And here it is 6, 3, 4, 2, same pattern. 6 alone, then we pinch 4 and 2. 29, same thing on the G chord. Almost the same in 30, but we just repeat the first pattern twice. 6, 3, 4, 2, 6, 3, 4, 2. Then he gives us a G7 here in measure 31. Here's the only moment, I believe, where we're getting that first string in there. And I'm playing it with my ring finger. I know a lot of people don't like using it. Feel free to double up on your middle. So you could do 6, 3, 4, 1, and you can play that first string with your middle finger. So it'd be thumb, then pointer on the 3rd string, thumb on the 4th, then your middle on the 1st. Then the measure ends with it on the 2nd string. And again, that's fine if you want to use your middle. I'm doing ring and then the middle. Doesn't matter too much, don't freak out about it. And then we end the verse with this last measure here. It's just one tiny little extra bar of G. That's it, 6, 3, 4, 2, as usual. And that is, well, I don't know. You can think of this as one big verse. We're just going to distinguish this other part as the chorus. I go to some hollow. So that's what we'll do next. But that is the verse. Every time it's going to be the same. All right, measure 33, the chorus. We get a little bit of a different rhythmic feel going on here, so let's talk through it. We start on the F chord. The reason I told you before to do the thumb on the top is because we're going to hammer onto that F, and then we're going to end up hammering open to 2 on the 3rd string in a little bit, which you can't really do when you're barring the chord. So if you're not good with a thumb over the top, that's fine. Leave out the colors here. You'll still get across, 95% of what Dylan's doing, missing a couple flourishes, but it's not the end of the world. Don't hurt your thumb if you can't play it this way. We all want to be able to use our digits and flanges for a long time. You want these things with you. You want to be able to open up jars when you're elderly. All right, so measure 33. We got an F chord. I'm hammering on open to 1 with my thumb. Then my thumb hits the 4th string. So I'm still doing that 6 to 4 back and forth, but he's hammering into the chord. So hammer on open 1, then the 4th string, and then the measure ends with the same pattern as usual. 6, 3, 4, 2. Thumb, pointer, thumb, middle. Next measure is the same, 34. 35 going into 36 is pretty tricky, so I'm going to talk about it at length for you people who are having trouble with it. If you already know how to do this and it's easy for you, use the timestamps, skip ahead, because I'm a little long-winded. I really give a thorough explanation of how to do these 2 measures. So you've been warned. You advanced players, you've been warned. Don't get mad at me. You beginners, I'm walking you through it, so don't worry. 35 is the same. He doesn't do the hammer on here because it would get too redundant. He just does 6, 4, 6, 3, 4, and then instead of doing 2, he hits 3 again. But here he lifts his middle finger on his left hand here, lifting that one. And we need a nice clean hammer on from open to 2. So practice that first. That might be hard for you to get a hammer on while you're holding down a chord. So just get used to that because it's going to get trickier. Because in the beginning of the next measure, 36, not only does he do that hammer on, so I'm using my pointer finger, right, in my right hand to do that hammer on, but the second you hammer on, I'm also using my thumb to hit the 6th string. So you're going to hear the hammer on, but you're also going to hear that at the same time. I call it a compound movement. There's not really a name for it, but that's my finger picking term for it, a compound movement. Because the moment I do that hammer on with my left hand, my right hand's doing the thumb, right? So it looks like my right hand thumb and my left hand middle finger, I missed it that time, are connected. And that can mess up your brain. You really got to practice that a lot to get the muscle memory. Do it a ton in isolation, really slow, take breaks because that chord is hard to hold. And then eventually you put it in the context, so we'll go from 35 here and lead into that. 6, 4, 6, 3, 4, and then the hammer on 3. That's what we're looking for. Thumb, 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 pointer, thumb, pointer, thumb. So if you need to slow that down, slow it down, but at the end, want that kind of smoothness to it. Maybe you're practicing that for a while. 6, 4, 6, 4, then get the hammer. So this is a good way to get in the habit of what, I messed it up because I'm talking, of what rhythmically it's going to feel like. What I always do is isolate the difficult part, keep the rhythm pure, because if you isolate something too much without rhythm, you tend not to learn it that well. But if you can keep that rhythm going, and then do that hammer in that compound movement, then you're really getting in the habit of keeping your thumb going, getting that muscle memory trained really well. Let's go all the way through 36 now that we got that hammer on compound motion thing happening. To make it a little trickier, right after we do the thumb on beat 1 of that measure, we quickly go to the 2nd string, the B string, and I'm using my middle finger there. So if you didn't have the hammer on, it'd be 6, 2, 3, but we have that hammer on coming into it. So hammer on, 6, 2, 3. Then the measure ends with even a little more color. We've got 6, 3, 4, 2, like normal, right? That same pattern of thumb, pointer, thumb, middle, but we lift the chord. He anticipates. He plays a B, which comes from the next chord, which is the G chord. So we call that little melodic note an anticipation, which is fun. We've got 6, 2, 4, lift the chord and give the 3. And after I do that, I'm just going straight into the G chord, which is the next measure. So the whole measure one more time, real slow. 3, 4 with the hammer on. To measure 37, where he changes the rhythm a little bit on you. We've got 6, 3, 4, 6, 3, 4, 2. He just doesn't give the and on that second beat. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and he does that 4 times in a row. That's 37, 38, 39, and 40 are all the same. Thumb, pointer, thumb, thumb, pointer, thumb, middle. I think the problem is not in your right hand picking hand, but it's your lack of nasality. You got to get everything resonating right in your schnoz. Moonshiner, 17. Get that gravelly. It's a combination of the nasal and the gravel together. That's what you're lacking, all right? Keep working on it. You're almost there. You almost got it as good as I do. It kind of hurts a little bit. Don't get discouraged. It looks like there's quite a bit left in the tab, but I promise it's kind of back to the repetitive stuff. So in 41, we have a C chord. Here you want to do that big C chord, right? Ring fingers on the 3rd string, pinkies on the 5th, and the pattern is 5, 3, 4, and then what we've seen before, 6, 3, 4, 2, 4, 42 is the same. 43 is ever so slightly different. You've got 5 and then you're pinching 4 and 2. And then you're doing that 6, 3, 4, 2. Same thing again. And then in measure 45, we go to an F chord. I'm just scrolling my tab here. Right? Same idea. 6, 3, 4, 6, 3, 4, 2. 46, we have 6 and then pinching 4 and 2. And again, the end of this measure is 6, 4. We have that same hammer-on concept we saw a little bit earlier. And then 47 ends the same, but here we don't pick it up in anticipation for the G because he stays on the chord a little longer, which is 48. Same pattern, 6, 3, 4, 6, 3, 4, 2, then to an A minor in 49, and that's just 5, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 2, 50 is the same. 51, C with a G in the bass, that pattern we always do, 6, 3, 4, 2, straight to an F chord, 6, 3, 4, 2. Almost there, almost there. Next measure is the same, which is 52, just stays on the F. That pattern we've always seen, 53 stays on the F, then goes into the C/G, same pattern. 54 is the same, except well, it's different, yeah. It's the same pattern at the beginning, but then it goes to the big C. So put your pinky down, 5th string, pinching 4 and 2. And then we keep going. Ooh, so in 55, I'm super nitpicky, but I swear he does hit the open E here. So our pattern is 6, 3, 4, 1. So it happens again where your middle finger's moving from the 2nd string to the 1st. 6, 3, 4, and then the 1st string with the middle finger. And then it's 5, 3, 4, 2, 6, 3, 4, 2, 5, pinch 4 and 2, which ends that measure, 56. 5 more measures to go, all right? 5 more measures, we're almost there. 57, it's just 6, 3, 4, 5, pinch 4 and 2, all on that big C chord. 58's the same, the same simple pattern, 6, 3, 4, 2, 6, 3, 4, 2. 59, 6, 3, 4, 2, then just lift it up into a G chord, do the same pattern. Here's a G7, 6, 3, 4, 1st string with that note F in there, G7 chord, and then it's just 6, 3, 4, 2, and then measure 61, 6, 3, 4, 2, 6, 3, 4, 2. We did it. I know I breezed through that really quick, but I wanted to make sure we carefully looked at every measure, no surprises, a lot of repetitive stuff. And now what we're gonna do here is really get a handle on it and insert the lyrics into it. And don't worry too much. If you wanna focus more on the singing, you can very easily throw any of those oddities away and just keep that generic pattern the whole time. No reason you couldn't do that 6, 3, 4, 2, right? That thumb pointer, thumb middle for all these chords. Toss away the variation, focus on the vocal delivery, and then when you feel good about that, then you can add those colors back in. Some of you are just guitarists, so then feel free to always nerd out if you're not gonna worry about singing it. All right, let's get a handle on this verse. We're gonna sing it, but this is what I recommend you do to really get a feel for the flow. First, look at the chord changes and maybe just strum it and kind of get a feel for when the words change. I'm not going to do all that, but maybe you can do this. It's a little more difficult. We're going to start just by doing the thumb line from the beginning of the verse. And I know my tab's a little wonky. I apologize because it should be 15, or maybe I'll fix it before releasing this. But the verse actually starts at 15 on the end of that like C/G chord. It's that C chord, I've been a. So we're gonna go from there one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've been a moonshiner. For 17 really want to get a feel for that, let's go from the top again. So go from that C/G. I've been a moonshiner. For 17 long years. And once you get a feel for that, maybe speed it up first. I'll try it again. I've been a moonshiner for 17 long years. And something about that feels unnatural to me. Is even if I were to do that like 10 more times, sure, I'd kind of get it. But for me, now that I have a rough idea of what I'm doing, I've been a moonshiner. Right, I'm phrasing it slightly different. For 17 long years. And the ending I want to do a little longer because he's cutting it off one measure short of the 4. So get a feel of like when, just kind of know when the words change with which chords, and it's up to you to kind of use your intuition and in terms of when you're going to change the chords. Because all this song is about him hitting those notes and really dragging them out and bringing you along in that suspense and that kind of like wailing, like drunken wailing nature of the lyrics and the prose and the feel of the song. So once you get that, then you can stick with that. Once you get that, my voice is I'm going through puberty again, I guess. But you want this whole 5, 4, or a 5, 3, 4, 2. So we start on this C/G. I've been a moonshiner for 17 long years. And ends on G. So that's me feeling it out, and you should do the same thing. That's all I'm trying to say. Whew. The chorus is also really ridiculous how long Dylan holds some of these notes. So we'll play this really slow and put the lyrics in. So from 33, it's got the pickup. I go to some hollow and sit at my still and if whiskey don't kill me, then I don't know what will. Just giving you a rough idea of how those changes are over it. I used to cover the song a long time ago. I kind of forgot it, relearned it for you guys. I need to practice singing it. So we will learn it together and work on it. But that is the basic idea. I'm not going to belabor that. I think you guys understand what I'm getting at. Dylan does it a specific way. You don't have to. You can just kind of tag during what words you're going to the next chord. So once you have that in mind, don't feel like you have to hold the notes out as long as Dylan is doing it. And as I said at the beginning, another reason I didn't do the CAPO is because Dylan's up really high, and this took me a long, long time to learn. It was hard learned, even though it's so stupidly easy. Don't sing the songs in the key that they're written in, right? There's only a 1 in 12 chance that the key that song is written in is good for your voice. There's no need to be a purist or something, because even look at Townes, look at Dylan, different periods in their career, they're playing songs in different keys, right? Maybe they smoked too many cigarettes that year, or maybe they were feeling under the weather, or whatever it is. but they're often changing the key of songs all the time. So don't feel like you have to be a purist. Oh, Dylan does it on the 5th fret, so that you have to sing it on the 5th fret. You have a different voice than Dylan. Thank God that you don't sing like Bob Dylan. Put your capo somewhere else and try, experiment, right? There's no right or wrong. There's no like right key for your voice. Melodies are different for every song. I've been asked that question, like, how do you know what key to sing in? It depends on the melody. How high does the melody go? And I did a video on that. I'll actually link it. A long time ago, I did a video. I think it's helpful. People found it helpful. But that will give you a rough guide as to what key you should put a song in. But not really. There's no key you should put it in. You should analyze where's the highest note, where's the lowest note in the song, and what key do I put that in, that high note and low note fit my voice. And that's what you're looking for. But that's done in another video. Let's do some slow run-throughs because you did the whole darn thing. Intimate close-ups so you can see the fingers. We're going to do a slow run-through. Let's do the intro and the verse here together. 1, 2, 3, 4. For 17 long years. It's hard to sing it this slow. Back to the A minor, it repeats. From the chorus, nice and slow, 33. 1, 2, 3, 4. What a lovely little tune to get you that moment of catharsis where you just play your little drunken song. It's so nice. So keep working on it. It's very satisfying when you get there after you have one of those aggravating days or a downer day. You know, you don't even have to sip the bottle. You can play the song and you almost feel drunk. It's one of those tunes where you can feel like you've been drinking on a whole weekend bender just by playing your guitar. You get that cathartic moment and you don't even have to pick up the bottle. So keep working on it. You're going to get there.